Over the last few years, I've been to a few graduations and heard several graduation speakers give speeches. The speaker usually starts by addressing the distinguished figures in attendance, mentioning them by name with perhaps a nod in their direction. In our case, those people might be the bishop, the headmaster, and perhaps the superintendent. I'm not going to do that, because today isn't about them. Then, the speaker would go on to recognize the faculty and staff in attendance, with a nod and perhaps a gesture in their direction. I'm not going to do that, because today isn't about them. And family and friends, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to address you either. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Because today isn't about any of you either. Today, I'm going to address the graduating class of 2013, and the rest of you are welcome to listen in if you'd like. Fellow graduates, today is one of those rare days when we get to celebrate ourselves. Be a little selfish and bask in the glory of our own achievements. Look back on the last 4 years and say, wow, we did a pretty darn good job. So hold your heads high and remember that today, and today only, is all about you. So I'm going to ask you all a favor. It's a strange one, but bear with me. Take off your shoes and hold them above your head. Like so. 4 years ago, when you all walked into JPII for the first time, I bet none of you expected to be doing this 4 years later. Heck, I bet none of you expected to be doing this morning. I know that 4 years ago, when I sat on that crowded bus, driving us all to Camp Boxwell, I never imagined that I would be standing on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, holding my shoes above my head, delivering perhaps history's first stocking-footed valedictory speech. But then look at yourself and look at your classmates and ask, are any of us really the person we thought we were going to be 4 years ago? You can put down your shoes now, but don't put them back on. Hold them in your lap or something, but you can't go back on your feet. These are my school spares. They are perhaps the last vestiges of a school uniform that I will ever wear. I used to hate these things. I remember trying them on freshman year for the first time, after attending a grade school where we got to wear sneakers every day. They were too tight, too narrow, too stiff. They were flat-footed, and the laces never seemed to want to stay tied. These things drove me crazy. I remember keeping a pair of tennis shoes in my backpack for a few months so that I could change shoes immediately after school. And the funny thing was, they never seemed to get any more comfortable. They stayed stiff and tight for months because I never wore them. Then, for a few days, I forgot to bring my tennis shoes to school, and I was forced to wear these shoes more. And strangely, they started to get more comfortable as I broke them in, wore out the soles. Today, I actually consider them rather comfortable. I think the same thing goes for our time at JPII. When we were freshmen, most of us were somewhat uncomfortable at the beginning. High school didn't fit quite right. But as we went on, our class started to break JPII in. High school wasn't uncomfortable anymore. It actually became rather comfortable. But those shoes can't take us any farther. This summer, we all have to buy a new pair of shoes. Stiff, tight, fresh out of the box. We have to go to college, and it's probably going to be uncomfortable at first. But hopefully we all learned a few lessons on how to break in a shoe from our time at JPII. So my hope is that with memories of our high school experiences in mind, we will quickly break in our new shoes and walk into our futures. Walking. I think graduation is probably the first time since we took our first steps as toddlers that our parents have been excited just to see us walk somewhere. Walking. You know, there's a fundamental truth about walking that I think we've all come to take for granted since we were toddlers. Moving forward isn't only about setting one foot down in front of the other. It also means that when we put one foot forward, we have to pick the other foot up in order to keep moving. At this moment, we all stand with one foot in college and one foot in high school. And I think this walk at graduation can be understood on more than one level. We're not only stepping across a stage to receive our diplomas, we're also literally picking up our foot from high school and moving it towards college, because we're not allowed to turn around and go back, and we're certainly not allowed to stand still. These Sperry's carried me into JPII, and they're going to carry me across this stage in a few minutes. It may be their last act before I retire them to the closet, but I'm darn proud of them, and I'm darn proud of myself. And I'm darn proud of each and every single one of you, class of 2013. So put your shoes back on, and let's walk.